Hi, my name is Cynthia Lopez. I am a registered nurse in the emergency department at the Brooklyn Hospital Center. Today, I will discuss domestic and intimate partner violence. What is domestic and intimate partner violence? Domestic violence and intimate partner violence are terms that are often used interchangeably to describe violence amongst parties who are related, married, share children in common, are living together, or are otherwise involved in an intimate relationship. The violence can include physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. An intimate partner is a person with whom you have or had a close personal or sexual relationship with. Intimate partner violence affects millions of people each year in the United States. Setting the stage for violence. Many abusive people appear like ideal partners in the early stages of a relationship. Possessive and controlling behaviors do not always manifest overnight. They may emerge and intensify as the relationship grows. Every relationship is different, and domestic violence does not always look the same. But in almost all abusive relationships studied, the victim states the abusive partner began by establishing power and control of the victim through many different methods, such as accusing the victim of infidelity and alleging the victim doesn't love them. This often results in the victim feeling guilt and an obligation to reassure the abuser, even though they've done nothing wrong. Soon thereafter, the abuser will begin demanding to know where the victim is going and who the victim will be with. They will also demand review of text messages and call logs for verification. Most of the time, the victim complies in the interest of preserving peace in the home or relationship. Emotional and verbal abuse. You may not think you are being abused if you're not being hurt physically, but emotional and verbal abuse can have long-lasting effects that are just as serious as the effects of physical abuse. Emotional and verbal abuse includes yelling, cursing, insults, and attempts to scare, isolate, or control you. This is often a sign that physical abuse may follow. Emotional and verbal abuse often continues and worsens once physical abuse starts. Physical abuse. Physical abuse is progressive and intensifies over time. It usually begins with pushing or shoving, and in many cases progresses to slapping, kicking, punching, hair pulling, biting, and assault with weapons. It can also include sexual abuse, in which the victim will be subjected to certain sex acts as a form of punishment for the purpose of inflicting pain and/or humiliation. Cycle of abuse. The cycle of abuse is a model developed to explain the complexity and coexistence of abuse with loving behaviors. It helps those who have never experienced domestic violence understand that breaking the cycle of abuse is much more complicated than just getting out or leaving. There are 4 phases in the cycle of violence. 1. Tension and building. 2. Incident. 3. Reconciliation. 4. Calm, honeymoon. Without intervention, the frequency and severity of the abuse tends to increase over time. Cycle of abuse continued. Over a period of time, there may be changes to the cycle. The honeymoon phase may become shorter and the tension and violence may increase. Some victims report that they never experienced an apologetic or loving abuser, but simply see a decrease in tension before the start of a new cycle. As the cycle starts, the victim starts going in and out of the relationship. It often takes many attempts to make a final decision to leave for good. Feelings of guilt, insecurity, and concern of the children's well-being, if any, play a strong role in the victim's decision-making process. Domestic violence and children. Sadly, in many domestic violence settings, there is also child abuse. But even if your child isn't being physically abused, simply witnessing domestic violence can be harmful. Children who grow up in abusive homes are more likely to be abused and have behavioral problems than other children. As adults, they are more likely to become abusers or think abuse is a normal part of relationships. Undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants face many of the same challenges as other victims of abuse. However, they may also face some unique challenges such as fear of being deported or of losing custody of their children. Physical, sexual, emotional, or other type of abuse is never okay. Even if it happens within a marriage, domestic and intimate partner violence is against the law, even when the abuser or victim is not a U.S. citizen. Resource information. There are resources that can help you break the cycle of abuse and relieve some financial and personal stressors often associated with leaving an abusive environment. I've included links for some of them below. The Brooklyn Family Justice Center provides one-stop shopping for domestic violence survivors by placing lawyers, police, dedicated domestic violence prosecutors, counselors, clergy, and other service providers under one roof. They can even help with emergency housing placement. Every borough in New York City now has a Family Justice Center. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, can provide a monthly supplement for purchasing nutritious food. If you qualify, you'll be provided with a debit card to use for groceries. They can help with cash, rental, and even burial assistance. Women, Infants, and Children, WIC, is the healthcare intervention program that provides nutrition education and professionally prescribed food packages to eligible individuals. WIC creates a productive interplay between our healthcare center and food consumption patterns of mothers and young children with inadequate diets. At the Brooklyn Hospital Center, we remain dedicated to keeping Brooklyn healthy and implore you to seek help if you need to. Our emergency department is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help meet all your healthcare needs and provide you with resource referrals in a safe, non-judgmental environment. We are COVID-19 safe. Our hospital and staff work diligently to keep everyone COVID-19 safe by ensuring all hospital surfaces, including chairs, beds, and stretchers, are cleaned after each patient use. We have increased our hand sanitizing stations by more than double and utilize hand hygiene ambassadors to ensure we all stay safe. Thank you for watching. This concludes the presentation. Remember that the emergency department is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we are COVID safe.